Last week, I pulled an all-nighter studying for my chemistry exam. 8 hours, Red Bull, flashcards everywhere. I got a C+. My friend Minhu, Korean exchange student, studied for 4 hours total, got an A. I wanted to fight him, but then he showed me something that completely changed how I study. And honestly, it's kind of insane that nobody teaches us this. Korean students score 23% in the top tier in international math tests. The average? 9%. They're literally dominating PISA scores while we're out here drowning in notes that don't even stick. So today, I'm breaking down the sole secret, the actual techniques Korean students use, not the 16-hour grind you see on TikTok. That's not sustainable, and honestly, that's not even what's working. Let's get into it. Here's what everyone gets wrong about Korean students. They think it's just more hours, more suffering, more pain. And yeah, there are students in Seoul who study 12 to 16 hours a day. That's real. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Those aren't the students topping the charts. The ones crushing it, they're studying smarter, not longer. I talked to actual Korean students, dove into research, and found something wild. The techniques that work have nothing to do with grinding. They're based on how memory actually forms in your brain. And if you've ever studied for hours and remembered nothing the next day, reread your notes 5 times and still blanked on the test, felt like everyone else just gets it faster than you, this is going to hit different. Because the gap between you and straight A students, it's not intelligence, it's method. Okay, so here's what you're probably doing right now. You read your textbook, highlight some stuff, maybe rewrite your notes if you're fancy, then you read it again and hope it sticks. Korean students do the opposite. They close the book and they test themselves. This is called active recall, and it's literally how your brain builds memory. When you just reread, your brain goes, cool, I recognize this, we're good. But when you force yourself to pull the answer from your brain, no notes, no hints, your neurons actually fire differently. You're creating the pathway. You're building the memory. Korean students don't just read chemistry formulas. They close the book, grab a blank page, and try to write them from scratch. If they can't, that's the stuff they drill. More intense. Think about it. How many times have you studied something, thought you knew it, then bombed the question on the test? That's because reading isn't learning. Retrieval is learning. Here's your move tonight. After you study a topic, anything, history, math, biology, close your notes, grab a blank sheet, and write down everything you remember. Can't remember? That's not failure. That's your brain showing you exactly what you need to review. Do that once, and you'll remember more than reading your notes 10 times. But here's the problem with active recall. If you only do it once, your brain forgets anyway, and that's where the second technique comes in. This one's sneaky, but it's literally the difference between cramming and never forgetting. Have you ever crammed the night before a test, aced it, then 2 weeks later couldn't remember a single thing? Yeah, that's because your brain has a forgetting curve. Scientists found that you lose about 80% of what you learn within 24 hours, unless you review it at the exact moment your brain's about to forget. Korean students use something called the 2-7-30 rule. Day 0, learn the material. Day 2, test yourself, active recall. Day 7, test yourself again. Day 30, final review. That's it. 4 touch points, and your brain locks it into long-term memory. I know what you're thinking. That sounds like more work. It's not. It's actually less. Because instead of re-studying the whole chapter the night before the exam, panicking, crying, questioning your life choices, you're just doing quick 10-minute recall sessions 3 times, spaced out. And by the time the test comes, you're not cramming. You're just remembering. Last semester, I tried this with my biology vocab. 200 terms. Used to take me hours the night before. This time, I reviewed them on day 2, day 7, day 30, 10 minutes each time. Test day, I didn't even study. I just walked in and knew it. It felt like cheating, but it's literally just science. All right, last one, and this might be the most underrated. Korean students don't just wing it. They have a system. They time block every subject. They set specific goals for each session. They track what they've mastered and what still needs work. It's not about studying longer. It's about knowing exactly what you're doing when you sit down. Here's what that looks like in real life. Instead of, "I'm going to study biology tonight," and scrolling TikTok for an hour, you say 6 to 6:30 p.m. Active recall for cellular respiration. Write everything I know. Check gaps. 30 minutes, one focus, done. Korean students also prioritize ruthlessly. If you already understand photosynthesis, you don't waste time reviewing it. You drill the stuff you don't know. Because here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Studying without a system is just sitting at your desk feeling anxious. You're not actually learning, you're just performing student. The second you add structure, time blocks, clear goals, active recall checkpoints, everything changes. You study less, you remember more, and you stop feeling like you're drowning. Now look, I'm not saying Korean students have it all figured out. The 16-hour grind culture and soul, that's not healthy. There's real pressure, real burnout, real mental health struggles. But the techniques that work, the active recall, the spaced repetition, the structured systems, those aren't about grinding. They're about working with your brain, not against it. You don't need to study like you're training for the Olympics. You just need to study like you understand how memory works. So here's your challenge. Tonight, not tomorrow, not next week, tonight, pick one topic you need to know. Study it for 20 minutes, then close everything and do active recall. Write it out from memory. Set a reminder for 2 days from now, do it again. Then 7 days, then 30. That's it. That's the soul's secret. And I promise you, if you actually do this instead of just watching and scrolling, your next test is going to feel different. You're not going to walk in stressed. You're going to walk in ready. Because the gap between you and the students that make it look easy, it's not talent, it's not genetics, it's just better systems. And you can build that starting right now. Drop a comment and tell me what's one subject you're going to try active recall on tonight. Let's level up together. I'll see you in the next one.